We go. And hello. Everyone say a nice big hello.
Hello!
What's up, dog?
Welcome to the world of tomorrow, as they say in Futurama. Now, welcome to the Geek Battle Show here on the Geek Battle platforms. I don't even know what we're on. We're on youtube.com/Extreme Improv, which is kind of the main one anyway, but we're not on Facebook because Facebook hates me this week. Guys, I'll share this with you. I haven't shared it with you guys on the show until just now, so they're hearing this for the first time as well. So not only is this not letting me share the show onto Facebook at the moment, yesterday I was banned on Facebook for 6 days for oversharing like stuff that I'm plugging. I have a live show, a live Extreme Improv show at the end of the month, and 2 days ago I spent a lot of money doing online advertising with Facebook, and then the next day they banned me for 6 days from sharing things. So, and now today it won't. And today it won't let me stream the show on there. So, all kinds of fun and games. They'll take your money and they'll spam stuff to everyone as long as you pay them. So you know, there's a lesson to be learned here. I'm just not sure what it is. But tonight we're going to discuss all kinds of geeky things. There is a new Spider-Man film that's still out. We're about to, this week, it may even be today. Is the Flash film out today? I haven't seen it. But the Flash movie is out. And then there's all kinds of other stuff that we're going to discuss. Here to discuss this and so much more is Tim. Say hello to the people and give us a random geek fact.
What's going on, everybody? Oh, sorry?
And I said, and give us a random geek fact.
Oh, hey, what's going on, people? My name is Tim. I'm from Providence. Welcome to Geek Battle. And a random geek fact today is the Death Star. They made 2 of them. And then they blew up both.
Does anyone want to tell him that we can't hear him?
Oh, you can't hear me.
We can't. No, we can't. No, we can hear you. We can't hear David.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because the silence was like, the joke's not that bad, but I was just like I know I didn't try it.
Forcible takeover. Cap, say hello to everybody.
What's up, dog? Sailing from the land of leopards, elephants, and crocodiles, and here I am, Capital Dave. And my geek fact for today is that there is a mental condition known as aphantasia, and people with these mental conditions do not have a mind's eye or an inner monologue most of the times, and they can't really visualize things as other people do, and because of that, they can actually watch horror movies and be fine going bathroom in the middle of the night and not picturing the same thing that you saw on TV behind them, because they don't have that feeling, and they don't get as much scared as other people reading horror books or mystery novels or a lot of horror movies. So if you know any kids who can, watch horror movies and be okay with going to the bathroom at 12 a.m., they might have aphantasia.
Whoa.
David, can you talk?
Yeah, I'm back, bitches.
Oh, okay.
Right, I'm back now, guys. Let me tell you something here. I've got this microphone. It's like a posh one, like Elgato or whatever. I accidentally broke the stand that it was on a long time ago, but it's got this feature where if you tap it, it goes red, and then you can't hear. So I was like moving something, and it fell over, and it thought I tapped it, and it went red. So I'm back. Now, who haven't we come to? Dave, you kind of saved the day there, but can you introduce yourself?
I'll use my last moment of power to say minus 1,000 points for Capital Death.
Wow.
Hello to the people, I am Dave MC, currently traversing the multiverse to find a universe where Geek Battle is not the #1 podcast to listen to. And my Geek Fact is... my Geek Fact is, David, you know the Daleks in Doctor Who, they're quite feared in the universe.
Yes.
What if I told you there is a Dalek that even Daleks fear?
Like, well, kind of what, like, there already was in like the series, because there was like the blue and the green ones or whatever, they were bigger, and then they killed the small ones.
Yeah, so that was the paradigm, but this was during the Time War. We've had variations of Daleks. We had the Time Strategist, who was the second in command, but we also had this guy, who is the Dalek Overseer, who is pretty messed up, as he had over 100 species genetically spliced to his own body.
Wow.
And Daleks hated him because he was not a pure Dalek, but they feared him because if you were in front of him, you were in trouble.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's definitely worth a point. So, good. Points all round. And what was his name? The Dalek what?
The Dalek Overseer.
Ah, okay. Guys, speaking of robots, go on, Cap.
I have huge respect for Doctor Who and whatnot. I think it's an amazing show, just by watching the Angels thing.
I can hear a butt coming.
But how come those rolling pinballs are the most feared thing in the Doctor Who universe?
What, the Daleks?
They look... Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. When they were first created, you think, like in the 1960s and that, they'd had people in rubber costumes going along like this. This was an alien that literally didn't look at all human. So they'd roll around, and you think the 1960s, that we weren't that far away from like a Second World War and that. So suddenly this thing that looks like a mobile tank, which isn't this big, but there's like hundreds of them. It was like a tank coming at you. It's got like the thing on the front like a tank. It could shoot you, and it didn't look at all human. It was something completely really alien. How many times do we like? Here's an interesting thought. Like Star Wars, Star Trek, all these things. More often than not, like the aliens are some sort of humanoid. So how often do we get things that don't look at all like a human? It's not often.
No.
Good, but how come they are the most feared thing in Doctor Who? That's what I don't like about
Because
it.
I said, God damn it! No, well, it's because... Okay, well, I can answer it. When the show was first on, it wasn't initially a great success, but in the first season of the series, there was the Dalek episode, and that was the one where everyone was like, wow, like, cause they didn't care about the first story, but when they met the Daleks, everyone was like, oh my gosh, Doctor Who, facing the Daleks. And so because it was the thing that made it popular, they made them the main enemy of the Doctor.
Change it!
Well,
They tried that. They did try that in Patrick Troughton's run. They did two Dalek stories at the beginning of Patrick Troughton's run. He was the second Doctor. But Terry Nation left the show and he took the Daleks elsewhere. So they did more stories with the Cybermen. They did, I think it was 4 stories in total with Cybermen. But then, of course, they brought the Daleks back because, you can't have Doctor Who without the Daleks. So they have tried promoting other monsters as their, as the face of the enemies.
Whoa. No, also when they when they brought back the series in 2005, it was last minute that they were actually able to get the Daleks to be in it. Otherwise, they weren't going to be able to do that. But here's one of the things, Dave. Give me your opinion. Like they brought back the original Cybermen during the Peter Capaldi era, the 12th Doctor.
Yep.
The original Cybermen are the scariest looking ones. And they look scary because their face is just it's like a skull or whatever with a cloth over it. So they don't look robotic. They look like they're a mangled human. And then they've actually still got human hands.
Yeah, so I would say that Doctor Who lost its way a little bit, and especially with, like Capaldi's run, not the original Cybermen, but Capaldi's run, and definitely with Jodie's run, they've made the Cybermen more robotic as opposed to what they actually are. They've become generic robots, as opposed to being a means of the Mondasians surviving. That's what they were. They were survival suits at the beginning. So they had the cloth, and they were human hands, and then in Capaldi's episode they were plastic hands.
Were they plastic? Did they change? Probably they thought it was too scary. Here's an interesting... I originally said, speaking of robots, and I can't remember why, but we've ended up back on robots, and it wasn't this. So, guys, do you remember... I'm going to segue it here. Do you remember they did, the reboot of RoboCop a few years ago? He still had one human hand. And I thought that... I didn't mind that reboot. It wasn't as good as the original, but I didn't think it was bad. Because, I'll be honest, there's been... After RoboCop 1... RoboCop 2 wasn't the greatest. RoboCop 3 was pretty bad. Every other TV series and stuff they've done of RoboCop was pretty terrible. So when they did the reboot, I was quite pleased with it. But one of the things I really did like about it is in the original RoboCop film, as they're fixing up Murphy, you can hear the Doctor say, "Oh, we've been able to save the hand," and then the mean business guy, he's like, "Why does he need to have one hand? Get rid of it." And I love the fact that when they did the version about 8 years ago, they left it so he still had one human hand.
Dave, I think that should give you a geek point, like a bonus point.
Yes,
geek fact.
I will take that, Tim. Thank you. Okay, now I'll remember what the other robot thing was in a minute. But is there anything you guys have seen that you want to react to? Any breaking news? Any stuff like this? I've got a few points, but if there's anything from you.
I just finished Citadel.
Okay, what is that?
The Citadel was directed by the Russo brothers. They spent millions of dollars on a single episode. If they're gonna, they spent I think I read a headline $50 million per episode.
Wow.
I think it's 6 or 7 episodes. It's got Rob Stark in it, Stanley Tucci. I should know some other actors and actresses' names, but I don't. And it's directed by the Russo brothers.
Is it recent?
It's recent. It's on Amazon Prime. And
I'm going to have to check it out. So the Russo brothers who did Avengers Endgame and that?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it's got good...
Priyanka Chopra?
Sorry?
Is this the one with Priyanka Chopra?
Yes. She does a really good job in it. The issue is that when I saw it, I felt like it was a little bit of Star Wars, a lot of James Bond, and then they threw in Days of Our Lives, sprinkled it in at heavy points, way too much soap opera going on.
So you're saying that Dr. Drake Ramore makes an appearance?
Yeah. Maury shows up, and the results are he is your relation. And then it's whoa, and everyone goes crazy. And then there's 10 minutes of exposition, and the Russo brothers does, there's an 8-year time span between the stories, so you're kind of jumping from 8 years, to the present day, to 9 years, to the present day, to it's a little, it's good, but it was, it was.
Although I will say this about the Russo brothers. They're good. They're very good. Like Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame were really good. But they're not Christopher Nolan. They try to be the Marvel version of Christopher Nolan, where they have high attention to detail. But they're not. Okay? They fell flat when it comes to some things because they think the rule of cool is better than the actual, the details of the story. And because of that, they fail.
And the storyline and the technology are revealed as the series kind of moves along, so that's good. Like the exposition is good, but I think also Amazon is throwing some more money into the Citadel brand or franchise because I guess they have like another series teaser for like a separate show that's related to the Citadel. So it'll be interesting, but it focuses on like a Spy 8 and Independence, like the Kingsman, but in America.
No, it sounds good.
They did Reacher too, and I thought that was pretty good. Amazon did Reacher, and I really enjoyed it. I think so far with the tactical spy things, I think they do pretty well.
Okay, no, I'm gonna have to. I'll have to check this out. Like I liked Endgame and that, and I liked what they did Captain America and stuff. So if the Russo brothers done it, this is their chance to win me over onto their non-Marvel stuff as well. So, speaking of non-Marvel stuff, it's like this segue here. Did you hear this rumour that Star Wars might be being sold back to George Lucas?
Yeah, I've heard that rumour.
That's insane. Like that is literally that they kept the receipt and they're like, oh well, we bought this dress and it doesn't fit, okay, so we're returning it now.
We damaged the dress long enough.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe they can do it. They can have it now.
So, it'd be cool if it happened, but I think it also would be bad if it happened because I think like George Lucas, he obviously made the original 3, then obviously he did whatever else he did, Willow and Indiana Jones and stuff. And then eventually he did the prequels. And I know there was, Cap, you're going to say there's the Clone Wars and stuff like this. But it was kind of like, well, Star Wars kind of didn't really do anything until then Disney bought it. And even though they didn't do a great job, there was things. Whereas if he buys it back, I don't think, how old he is or whatever, that he's actually going to be like, well, here was my script for 7, let's start filming. So I don't know what it's going to... I don't know what that would mean. I think it would still be he's like, well, I've selected this director who's going to do my version of it or whatever, my 7, 8 and 9 or whatever. But I think that would be the craziest admission of defeat that Disney could ever have.
Well, Disney itself has lost quite a significant amount of money with the Lucasfilm stuff. With Star Wars hasn't been doing very great. The Mandalorian season 3 did badly in terms of viewership. It did really badly. And then you've got Indiana Jones. I think that's already.
They lost a lot. They have a lot of reshoots.
Is Indiana Jones out yet? I think that's not out until the end of the month.
I don't think that's out yet, but I think with the reviews from the Cannes Film Festival, like, Priscilla, is it Cannes or Cannes? The Cannes Film Festival.
Cannes!
The Cannes Film Festival, with the reviews coming in from that, it doesn't look promising for Indiana Jones. I had to confer with the Frenchie.
Oh, wow. Okay, so let's go around. What are your thoughts on this? Would you like Lucas to buy back Lucasfilm, Tim?
I'm on the fence on it. I need to hear more what the intention is.
Yeah.
I have my opinions on some of the Legends stuff, and some of it got a little too. It's what happened. It's what happens when you give other creators a little too much license to create within the universe. And I guess I'd have to hear more about what the intentions are.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. This is such an early rumor. I almost can't believe that this would happen. But apparently, one of the other things I did hear, and I didn't even really know that this had happened, but apparently Disney at one point bought Power Rangers and sold it back to Saban or whatever the company that originally made Power Rangers was. I can fact check this now because this is something I just heard the other day. But apparently Disney bought Power Rangers many years ago and sold it back to the original person. So maybe it could just be that someone's said like, oh well, they should sell it, Star Wars, and someone said, oh, that could never happen, and someone went, well, it happened with Power Rangers, and someone overheard it, and they were like, ooh, Disney are selling Star Wars. I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think
they will, but if they did, and George Lucas does buy it back and does a better job, I think I would like that. I would really like that to see that it goes back to the original creator, and he does something really great with it, and they'll be like, yeah, this is why you don't give up on your stuff.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay, so I've instantly found this story. So in 2001, that's so long ago, Disney acquired the rights to Power Rangers. And then it says here, 2010, why did Disney sell Power Rangers? And it says, the research showed that parents disliked the violence, particularly the hand-to-hand combat. Well, they've bought Star Wars and Marvel since then, right? Hulk smash! Right, but anyway, that is part of the franchise's DNA. Ultimately, Disney decided not to brand the Power Rangers characters as Disney. That's probably why we'd never really heard of it. Wow.
I think I remember reading about that actually, because I was a kid when they changed the tone a bit of Power Rangers. It was after Wild Force that they really changed. There was a big tonal change, like when Ninja Storm.
Yeah. And
then Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, when all those came out, I remember watching like Wild Force beforehand and then seeing the difference in like tone. There was more light-hearted and more.
This does happen at times. It's like was it in like the original Ninja Turtles cartoon that they were like, parents were like, he's got nunchucks and now people are getting skipping ropes and that, and so then he just never used them and they hardly ever fought.
But the weirdest thing? They were okay with the swords, with the Leo using the katana, but in the first movie, Leo used his sword a lot, but in the second film, he had the swords, but he never used them. And if he does, he just pulls it up in the air, uses it as a ball, and then hits everyone. That's all he does with the sword.
Yeah. So, interesting stuff, but like, I don't think Disney would be sensible to sell Star Wars, because like if they spend like $4 or $5 billion on it, it's like, even if it's not making as much now, you've got to think that's going to keep making money just over time. It will eventually pay for itself. Cap?
This is not related to Star Wars, but I did hear something, but I never actually fully realized it. There's apparently Disney somehow casted a porn star in the Little Mermaid movie.
That is a definite segue.
That's not true.
That is a hard segue. That's like, here's something completely different. A porn star in the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, I'll say this though.
Let me look that up.
If the porn star is changing careers, I'm all for that. But again, Disney is such a different brand that these kind of things don't actually fly under their radar. But I've been seeing this on post. But if you can fact check that would be great.
You can actually make me look this up.
Don't look it up.
Little Mermaid porn. I can't fact check that one, Cap. Well, maybe I can. I just need to go onto the right site. Little Mermaid rumor. Pornography. Right, now, how do you look this up? Right. Okay. Dave, were you going to say something on the topic at hand before Cap will
No, I was going to go back to Star Wars.
No, that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
I was going to say that if I think I'm like the same as Tim. I'm on the fence about it. It would be a good thing to have Lucas in and have the universe that he created.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Wait, what?
What? He found it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, now hang on. At this point, we're going to have a run-in from Nick. So here comes Nick onto the stream.
Nick! Save us, Nick!
So Nick, who was with us on Extremes last week, this will be making his Geek Battle debut. I trust this is Nick.
Yes, it is indeed Nick.
It is Nick. Hello, Nick.
It is a Nick, at least. I may not be the same Nick you met last
Oh,
week.
there you go. Not the Nick, but a Nick. So, Nick, if you haven't done Geek Bash before, I will just give you like the heads up. You know, we're going to have some fun and games on here. Often we're just like discussing weird rumors that we hear about movies or video games and stuff. We often get sidetracked, but we will get onto a game very soon.
Hey, Timothy, how you doing, man?
I know. Good. Long time no see. How are you?
Good, man. Just working a lot.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
Thanks.
now we've had this fun reunion. Dave, we'll come back to you in one moment, Nick, because Dave was just giving us a point about Star Wars or something. I forget.
Because you were all looking on the internet, that's why. So I was going to say, I'm the same as Tim with regards to selling it back. You know, in one aspect, it'd be good to have, you know, the mind of Star Wars work back on the project, but in a way, I think Disney would be stupid to do that. Like, have George on as, you know, like not so much as a director as much. We've seen his directing. It's not 100%, you know, but I think it could work in terms of like revitalizing Star Wars a little bit, because since the Disney takeover, it's been a bit shite. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Nick, are you a Star Wars fan?
I am.
Okay, Nick, have you heard that there is a rumor that Disney may sell Star Wars back to George Lucas?
From your mouth to God's ears, man.
Yeah.
That would be fucking brilliant. Sorry. That would be brilliant. Yeah, because the last couple movies, the series are awesome. I'm a big fan of like all the side projects like Ahsoka and whatever the other Disney Plus shows are. But I have not been happy with the movies. Honestly, I think it just should have stayed a trilogy. But then I'm old, so I'm very set in my ways.
Wow, you don't even think they should have done the prequels?
Oh no, the prequels are a disgrace to movies in general.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hot take.
Okay, that is a hot take coming straight in there. Tim, what do you...
bring up.
Yeah, go for it.
I want to bring up a good point. Is that when we think about George Lucas, the first three movies were also edited by, like, heavily influenced by his wife at the time. I think they were married from like 69 to 83.
He did many of the rewrites.
Yeah. So like, and many of those rewrites included, I think, a decision to kill off Obi-Wan Kenobi. So like, that's a heavy decision making where you like get rid of Sir Alec Guinness's character so early in the series, especially when it's like the first movie. I guess that might, you know, you could sell it to George Lucas, but if you're trying to capture the original movie series, I think it's going to take heavy consideration on who should be a part of that and what their creative experience is.
Yeah, okay. Dave?
Well, like at the moment, stepping away from the George Lucas thing, Kathleen Kennedy and that, they've said when they're releasing these new movies, they're releasing them in 2025, round about the same time they're releasing the new Avengers movies. So I think that would be, they're releasing two of them in the same year, and then another one about 2 years after that.
Wow.
That's what they've said anyway.
I hadn't heard that at all. So what, they're going to put out like Star Wars effectively like 10 and 11 in the same year?
So don't quote me on this.
Oh, it's too late, Dave. I am.
So, I mean, in terms of the name, so like, in the year they released these Avengers movies, they're doing Star Wars 10 and 11 in a single year, and then they'll wait a couple more years to release episode 12.
Wowzers. Nick?
What would happen, hypothetically, hear me out, if they just do a reboot of like 3, 4, and 5, 4, 5, and 6, just like reshoot and with like the modern technology and young actors. At one point, me and some friends did a fantasy casting for the original trilogy, and I wish I still had that doc because it was awesome.
Well, wasn't it the thing that the guy who plays Bucky, like, actually really looks like Luke Skywalker when... Have people seen this? Like,
Yeah,
insanely
he does.
so.
He does.
Yeah. So, like, they could redo it. But they tried to recast Han Solo already, and that didn't go too well for them.
Yeah, well, that movie was also garbage of the hottest kind.
It was
Han
garbage.
Solo does not need an origin story. No one was watching those movies thinking, I wonder what he was doing beforehand.
Do you know, I think I've brought this up before. Has there ever been, like, a prequel movie, or anything, I guess, which has actually been good and, like, not just been like, oh, and this is just a reference to what we already know? And look, Lord of the Rings and the Hobbits, we can't really count because we just got the films in the wrong order. You know, because the Lord of the Rings was a sequel. It wasn't that the Hobbit was a prequel. It's just that they had the rights to that film, so they made it first. Has there ever been a prequel which has actually been good?
Rogue One.
Rogue One.
Rogue One was very good. However, we had no expectations for the character to survive because of the scene in A New Hope when what's her face? Not Leia, but the other female admiral says,
Jyn.
Jyn Erso says everybody that came in to deliver, all the people involved in this mission died in order to bring us this information. So we all knew that every character in that movie was gonna die.
I think that Rogue One is a good prequel, but they made one mistake that I can look over, is that they put Darth Vader in. Darth Vader did not need to be in that movie.
I thought that was like the scene that everyone liked about that.
But I don't deny that it is a good scene. But I think Disney was playing it safe by putting in an already established character. If they put in Darth Vader, of course people are going to talk about it, and of course people are going to go and see the movie just so they can see Darth Vader. I think if Darth Vader wasn't in it, Rogue One might not have been that successful.
I liked it. I thought that Darth Vader scene kind of showed how savage he was.
I don't remember the Darth Vader scene.
God.
I don't remember much about that movie. So
I remember that I liked it.
I remember that I liked that was the one with the blind guy, right?
Yeah.
I did like the blind guy fighting scene.
I have worn the Death Trooper armor, and they made us run in these costumes. How did those guys do anything in those suits?
They're all just really miserable, so that's why their aim is like, I'm so miserable, I'm gonna make everyone else miserable. Blah, blah, blah. That's what it was.
I can't remember a movie right now, but I would say I did like the series, HBO series based off Game of Thrones. What's it called? The recent one. What is it?
Yeah, House of the Dragon.
I like that one. I think that's a good prequel, although I can't really compare it because I haven't actually seen it.
Well, do you know, the interesting thing there is I haven't seen either, so I can't comment on that, Nick.
My problem with Game of Thrones was the last season in general. Everything up to the last season of the show was fantastic, and then you're like, all right, so wait, this character is going to do what? I'm sorry. That does not follow the character's arc. My favorite episode of the entire series was actually the last season, which surprised me a lot.
Okay. Yeah. Now,
is it bad that I've still never seen Game of Thrones?
I've only seen like the first season of it, and I thought it was boring. Like, I get that there are dragons and monsters and stuff in it, but the first season, I thought, is this historical? Because it really didn't have any of like the fantasy stuff in it that I was expecting. It just like had Sean Bean. Tim, were you about to say something?
I'm curious to see if like Game of Thrones is a selling point for a lot of the new series. Like, you kind of need a season or two to set up all the proper exposition to get a universe out into the mainstream of media coverage, I guess. You know, it took a while to get to the War of the Five Kings, and once we finally got into it, it's like, oh, this is pretty good, you know?
That's valid.
Is that why a Citadel or, you know, The Witcher or some other fantasy or sci-fi series in the first season are kind of lackluster?
Speaking of The Witcher, just reminded that I actually like The Nightmare of the Wolf way better than the series, and this is actually a prequel. And the thing is that this didn't follow the books at all, by the way, but still, it was way, way better than the actual series. And it is a prequel because this happened before the season started.
That's an interesting thing, though. Like, so that is clearly an animated thing. For like the Netflix series, are they actually connected?
Here's the thing. Here's the most fucked up thing about The Witcher, and this is why no one knows what's happening around there. They set this up as a prequel, the origins of the story, origins of all the things that are happening in the series, right? The series kind of loosely hints the books and then don't follow the books, and it's total shit mess. They filmed season 2 after The Nightmare of the Wolf. They didn't even see their own prequel movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's not a prequel. It's just unrelated. Right. So, you know, that holds like true there. But okay, guys, I finally remembered. I'm going to change direction for a moment. I mentioned at the very start of the show. I wanted to like speaking of robots, the Terminator series, right? Here's the thing. So if you see like the Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator, and like when the skin gets burned away, it's like a metal skeleton. Yeah. Now, obviously, inside the head, there's a robotic brain. But, like, the flesh on the outside, they explain that the T-600s had rubber skin and they were easy to spot. So then the new ones, as Reese says in the first film, it's like they've grown, like, real flesh on it. And so the outside is, like, you know, real sweat, real blood, and all this kind of thing. But when it becomes just a skeleton, like, literally, the eyes are those red things that we see. So, like, when you see, like, the eyeball, what is that? Because it can't be a whole eye, because the socket has got something in its way, being, like, the red camera thing. How does the eyes work? The rest of it is, like, it's got a metal skeleton with human flesh on it, but the eyes have to be something different, because they can only be at the front, because they can't be a whole ball, because they need to sit in the socket.
Cap just said it. I think he got it.
Oh, I missed that.
The eyes are just rubber.
Rubber? No, they're not rubber. We see him take an eyeball out in the first film.
Isn't there a meme or something with like rubber eyes? Maybe that's the whole Terminator shtick. It's like everything is real except for the eyes. It's just plastic. It's just
well, here's the weird thing, right? If you look at a Terminator skull, it has human teeth. It's not metal teeth.
Metal, but human-shaped teeth.
No. Literally, I'll bring up a picture. Like, the rest of it, like, the skull is metal, but the teeth on a Terminator are teeth like human teeth. Because the rest of the flesh is actual human tissue, which they grow. And the teeth, because if you're the Terminator, and you smile like the Terminator sometimes does, you could see the teeth, so they have to actually be... So they're not metal teeth when you see a Terminator skull. They are...
I mean, maybe that's why Skynet couldn't kill John Connor, because they were focused more on dental hygiene than eradicating humanity.
Oh, yeah, well, don't even mention dental hygiene to me, right? I went to the dentist today, and it's because I had a filling come out, and they're like, we'll just give you, like, this hygiene thing. It was like butchery for 30 minutes of like this. It was terrible.
David is right.
Yes.
David is right.
Yes! The Terminator has human teeth.
Alright, for the record, I don't need David to know he was right about anything ever.
I'm never right about anything, Nick. This is something you'll learn quite quickly. Except that Sliders is the best television show ever made.
Which one?
Sliders!
Sliders?
Yeah, do you remember Sliders?
Yes, I remember Sliders. I would say that the British Office is better than Sliders.
Oh, Nick! Oh, what a impactful hot take you're taking there with us straight away. Do you know what? I'm British. I don't like The Office that much.
You're allowed to be wrong.
Yeah, I am. But I'll tell you what. Right, guys, do you like The Office over the British or the American version?
Never seen it.
It's garbage.
Never really seen it.
I gave it a try, the American one. literally 2 episodes in, I can't watch it.
No, I find it quite boring. And when it first was a thing, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, but if you work in an office, then it's so funny because you recognise it." It's like if I have to work in an office to be able to understand your sitcom, and also it was revolutionary in the sense that up to that point, like in the UK, we'd had like Only Fools and Horses, The Vicar of Dibley, and you guys may not know what these sitcoms are, but you'd watch them. And they'd have a laugh track like how Friends, that you could hear the audience laugh. But honestly, you'd be laughing every 20 seconds. And then The Office is like, oh, it's so subtle. And it's like, and there's no audience laughter. I'm like, that's because they wouldn't laugh if they were there. But anyway, I digress. Has anyone else seen anything they want to react to? Yeah, Cap.
Oh, I just want a quick person to say, yeah, I haven't worked in an office, and also I didn't live in the 90s or in the 80s, or in America for that reason. And I love the shit out of Friends and Seinfeld and Fresh Prince. But the Office, I'm just like that.
Those were like, I just started rewatching Seinfeld on Netflix yesterday, and it still holds up.
Does it?
Because it's actually funny. They've written actually funny things in them.
Yeah, like good humor is kind of timeless, but like The Office, I don't know. Like I can appreciate it a bit more when I've seen it. Like over the last couple of years, I tried to give it a go, but yeah, to me, it's not actually that funny. At best, it's kind of something you can have in the background, and it's not. Well, sometimes it is offensive, but sometimes it's inoffensive to have on in the background. Cap.
I've seen a few clips of it, like they just take some jokes and they put it on YouTube as some clips. I do sometimes laugh at those, but as like a 22-minute episode, I find it really hard to watch. But as short clips, I think there's just the specific jokes that did make me laugh, so I have to give it that. Except maybe it's like the long pause where there's like no sound or music in the background, just like it has to do with a lot of cringe humor as well, and I would say.
Yeah. Okay, guys, is there anything else that people have seen this week? Like, obviously, the Flash movie is about to be out, so I'm sure we'll be able to have some reactions to that next week or whatever. Is there anything that people have seen? Any, like, video games you've played? Anything that you want to react to? Something that's new, a new trailer or anything like this before we move on?
I went to see The Little Mermaid yesterday with my mother.
Okay, was it good?
Quite enjoyable. We're like, our household is a Disney household. We love Disney, so we went to see it. It was fun. I love when they cast for Ursula.
Yeah.
I thought, shit, I can't remember who it was right now. Sorry about the swearing.
No, don't worry. Don't over swear, but it happens on this channel, so don't worry.
Right. Who was it? The cast for Ursula. She was fantastic.
Who was it?
Melissa McCarthy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Melissa McCarthy was fantastic as Ursula. There was one scene that I'm like, that was overdone, but other than that, it was fine. So.
I've heard the one thing that you said about Nick is that Melissa McCarthy is great as Ursula. They said like she's terrific in this movie, but the problem is that she's the only terrific thing in this movie.
I want to see it. Like I do want to see when it's come to the Disney remakes. Like, when it was at first, like, I actually quite liked Beauty and the Beast. I really liked The Jungle Book. Aladdin, I thought, was, like, it's a bit hokey. Lion King, I was so disappointed with, only because the faces didn't move. It's just like, cats' faces wouldn't move. But Baloo's did in Jungle Book, so just make the face move. Right, but...
And they did the same thing with this. I mean, especially with aquatic animals, they don't even have like expression like bird animals do. Make them cartoony.
Yeah. Well, look, but here's the thing: they made Pinocchio so it looked like Pinocchio. Like, I didn't mind it. I wasn't blown away by it. But I know that everyone went crazy for the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio.
Yes.
But I haven't seen it. But what I can say is one of the reasons I haven't seen it is that Pinocchio in that film looks like a thing of the nightmares. It doesn't look like who made that? I thought Geppetto was meant to have like talent in that. like Pinocchio in the Guillermo del Toro thing looks like it's like some horror creation.
Yeah, he is a horror director, so yeah.
Yeah, I know, but like, so like, give me the little wooden boy sort of thing that Disney do.
But I will say this though, with the Disney remakes in general, like Jungle Book I did really like. Beauty and the Beast terrible, and that kind of makes me to plug in my video here. As I made an entire video explaining why the 3D cannot be as beautiful as 2D. So go watch that video where I'll explain.
Wow. Okay. No. Okay. Let's quickly pick up on that, Cap, and we can plug your video again. So the argument you made was that the CGI 3D graphics can't be as good looking as the 2D.
No.
I'll tell you what.
If you compare. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, I think I agree with you.
Exactly, because I compared like two shots of the Beauty and the Beast, right? Especially first thing I did was the castle. Like how magical and wonderful it is to see it in the 2D cartoon. And the 3D CG is just dark and much. I can't enjoy the magic of the castle. That castle was the best thing about Beauty and the Beast. I enjoyed the castle so much. And also the castle people, they look terrible. They don't move as much as the cartoons do, and they don't have that fantastic nature about them.
Okay.
To the Lion King. Animals with doll faces don't work.
But hang on, here's the thing. I think what's happened is like Disney, they've made the things look realistic, and for the Lion King, I would have been completely fine that the characters look like real lions, but if they could still smile and stuff, and like articulate, I just can't wait to be king. But instead they were just like blank faces. And then look, I haven't seen Little Mermaid, but I've seen like, obviously on the poster, it looks like real fish. And I don't know why they think that it has to be talking real animals, because just do it with real animals like they did Lady and the Tramp. When Disney Plus first came on, they like animated the mouths of like real dogs. And I thought that was quite cool. But just to come back to the idea, can like animated things look great? Do you remember Rio? Like, those cartoons look great.
Rio looks great. Rio's fantastic.
You know, so I think it can happen. It just comes down. Look, you know, you can do it with CGI, but I will be honest.
No, I say again, it has to be in the cartoon realm. You can't go realistic with it. That's the main problem of the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay, I agree with that.
The DreamWorks movies like Shrek, How to Train Your Dragon, they all look wonderful, but they still work like a cartoon. They do the movie as thinking as it's a cartoon. That's even what Disney does with like Frozen, with Elsa and everything like that. They're CG characters, but they're not human looking. They still go for that cartoon element.
Yeah. I saw Puss in Boots 2 this week for the first time. I tell you what, it was okay. Right? I think it had been overhyped.
What?
I think it had been overhyped. I was expecting it to be like, oh my god, this is like the best movie ever, but it was kind of like the first one. But anyway, Dave, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was just going to follow off on Cap's point and just say that there are some things in just the real world that you can't, that things in a cartoon that you can't do in real life. Like I said, like Cap, what you were saying with the castle and in Beauty and the Beast, you know, it was an animated movie, it's intended for kids, so you've got bright, like when before the castle is cursed, you've got these bright colours, it's all very beautiful, but then when the castle is cursed and you get the dark transition, it looks great, but then when it translates to reality, it still looks as dull in broad daylight as it does when it's cursed. Like you can manipulate things in the real world with, you know, a change of lighting or put a bit of green screen on it, but again, you're still following the real world logic. You're following, or if the sun's over here, then the light is pointed in that direction. Instead of saying, well, the sun's over here, let's brighten it up with some colours from our palette in the background so that the audience can see, you know? And with the animal thing, yeah, again, the facial expressions should move. There was a post I saw, this was when The Lion King was coming out, well, the CG, like the animated movie animals on the live action version faces, and they still work.
Yeah.
I would have been happy if the animals didn't talk, if it was a silent movie, you know. You want to make it if you wanted to make it a real live action movie, animals don't talk in real life.
Yeah.
That's true. So, look, guys, just thinking of time here and stuff. Let's go on to a guessing game. Let's go on to a guessing game, guys. Right. So what we're going to do here, Nick, I'll explain this for you if you haven't seen this part of the show before. I'm going to go around everyone, and everyone's going to get 1 minute, and you'll be able to, within this 1 minute, like guess a film or guess a TV show or a video game or whatever. But you'll only be, and you'll ask me questions, and you'll have 1 minute to ask me as many yes/no questions. I can only answer yes or no. I often will break this rule and give a tiny bit more information, but generally speaking, I can only answer with yes or no. Okay, I won't make you go first. But if the person doesn't guess the movie or whatever it is, I then hand it over to the next person and they have 1 minute. Get the idea?
Yeah.
Okay, so Cap, we're going to start with you. What would you like to guess? A movie, a TV show, video game, a book, or a character?
A book.
I knew you'd say book. Right, okay, let's see what we've got. Is that really a book? Wow. Okay, hang on. Let's get something that's at least a little bit geeky. Gosh, I'm going to have to look this damn book up. Right, 1 second. Yeah, I'm going to suffer. I made this, but I don't know enough about it. Okay. Right, okay, let's see. Right, so...
David's doing all the research for a book that he will not read.
Yeah, I'm not going to read it. Okay, are you ready? You have 1 minute to ask me as many yes/no questions you can, Cap, and here you go.
Is there a Disney film based off this book?
No.
Is there any movie based off this book?
Yes.
Thank God. Is it a children's movie?
No.
Is it a fantasy film?
No.
Is it urban fantasy?
It's not fantasy.
It's not fantasy. So it's like a real book, like non-fiction.
No, it is fiction.
It is fiction. Is it sci-fi?
I don't think so, no.
Is it a comedy?
No, it's more realistic, just to help you there. It may be ever so slightly science fiction, only in that, but it's set in the real world. It's not science fiction. I'll give you a few more seconds, because that wasn't clear.
Was the Back to the Future based on a book?
It's not Back to the Future. You got 10 seconds.
So it is comedy, slightly based in sci-fi.
It's not comedy.
It's not a comedy, okay.
And it's not sci-fi. I said it might have a tiny element.
Okay. Does this take place in the modern day, the story?
It did for when it came out. But that is time. Okay, Dave, I'm going to hand it over to you. Same book, and here you go.
Did this book come out in the year 2000?
No.
Or is it before the year 2000?
Yes.
Was the film out in the 70s?
No.
80s?
No.
90s?
Yes.
90s. Hang on. Does it feature dinosaurs?
No.
Oh, damn it!
Oh, that would have been good.
There were two options there. Crikey. Books, 90s, films. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't read books.
You know there is a film of it, though.
I know there's a film with it. It's just did the film feature a famous actor?
Yes.
Is this famous actor still alive?
No.
No. Was it loosely adapted or was it a full adaptation?
I don't know. And that is time. Right, okay. I've never seen this film. I've never read this book. Right, anyway. Oh, Tim, are you still there? Oh, that's amazing. That is really good, Tim. Okay, Tim's hand. You now have 1 minute, and here you go.
All right. Does the title of the book the same as the movie.
Yes.
What was the book published in the 70s?
No.
Sorry, that's been giving me nightmares right now. Was the book published in the same decade as the movie was?
No, it wasn't.
Okay. Was the book published before the 70s?
No.
Was the book published in the 80s?
Yes.
Okay. Is it a science fiction book?
No. There might be a tiny
fantasy
science
book?
fiction element, but I don't know it. But I couldn't swear it, so it's realistic, but it's
Sure.
not. But it is fiction.
It's like science fiction-y for the 80s.
No, it's not science fiction. Like, I don't know the story enough to be able to swear there isn't any tiny element of science fiction, but it's not science fiction.
Okay.
I'll clarify in a
Show
second.
dinosaurs.
Right. You got 10 seconds left.
Is it King Arthur?
No.
That's, what the heck?
And that is time. Okay, let me clarify my position on this. So, I don't know if I can think of another example, but I don't even know if this is the case. But okay, so say there's the film Outbreak, which is about like a virus, right? Technically, you could say that's science fiction because it's not based on a real virus. You see what I'm saying?
It's not science fiction.
Sorry?
It's not science fiction. It's not science fiction anymore, at least.
Well, yeah, it's not science fiction
science
anymore.
thriller.
But do you understand what I'm
Semantics,
getting at? There might be something about it. I don't know this at all because I don't know it. Where someone could say, "Oh yeah, based on that, it's got some fantastical aspect to the story," but I don't know. Is the truth? Okay, Nick, it is time. You're trying to guess the same book. We've started with probably the hardest category. Let's see if you can get it in this next 1 minute. Go.
Is it war games?
It's not war games.
Is the lead role a male character?
The lead is a male. Yes.
Is it about aliens?
It's not. No. It's not. No. It's not. It's not science fiction.
Is the lead character in other movies that I may have seen?
Yeah, definitely.
Ready Player One?
It's not Ready Player One.
I give up. I'm out.
Oh, you got 10 seconds left. You could try to narrow it down.
Are there chickens in the movie?
I hope so, but I don't know. And that is time. That is time. Okay. Dave, did you suddenly have a guess?
Hugo?
No, it's not.
Is it Hugo?
No, you're not going to get it, guys. It is The Hunt for Red October.
Oh!
So, like, I know it's like nuclear submarines or whatever, and if someone suddenly said, but that doesn't happen in real life, it's science fiction, that's what I was getting at, because I've not seen it. I don't know. Right.
I thought it would have been, when I asked you about the dinosaurs, I thought, alright, he's either talking about Jurassic Park or The Lost World.
Okay, Tim, what category would you like to guess?
TV shows, please.
TV shows. Okay, let's see what we've got.
I'm going to mess this up.
Oh, I love it. Okay, I'm really excited about the one that we've got here. I just need to find out.
It can't be worse than the book, Tim.
Okay, hang on.
Oh, you're
a
book for a category.
I
Okay.
think it can't be worse than the book.
It might be. This we'll have to see if you can get it, but I'm going for this because it's the one that came up on the generator. Here you go.
Oh, is yeah. I'm gonna. Is the TV show made in the 90s?
No,
Is the TV show made in the 2000s?
no. That doesn't mean that there wasn't a follow-up series that may be more recent, but not the one I'm specifically talking about.
Okay, so is the TV show made in the 80s?
No.
The TV show made in the 70s?
It existed in the 70s, but that's not when it started.
Is it Star Trek, the original series?
It is not.
Is it the $6 Million Man?
No.
does the TV show have a very well-known music song or theme to it?
Oh, probably, but I can't bring it to mind. But probably.
All right. Oh my God. I know. I think does the theme is that with like a guitar? Is that
you know when I said I couldn't bring it to mind, I still can't. I'm sorry, but that is time.
Okay. All right. I tried.
That is time. Okay, we're going to hand it straight over following this same order. Nick, so you are going to now have to try to figure this one out using all of the information that Tim works out. Go.
Is it a show about time travel?
It's not about time travel.
Is it a show about robots?
No.
Aliens?
No.
Detective show?
No.
Horror?
No.
Is it a game show?
It's not a game show.
Is it porn?
It's not porn.
Is it live action?
It is live action.
Alright, so I got 1 out of my 17 questions. Excellent. Was it remade on a premium network?
I can't say about what networks it's been on, but yeah, I think it's definitely had remakes at some point.
Will I have seen it in America?
Yes, it's an American show. I'll give you that.
Okay. Could it be Quantum Leap?
It could not, and that is time, I'm afraid. Cap, handing over to you. Go.
Is it Knight Rider?
No.
Was the original show made in the 50s?
Yes.
Okay, that doesn't help me very much. Is it a sitcom?
I don't know if I wouldn't call it a sitcom.
But is it a comedy?
It might have some comedic elements, but no, it's not.
It's not. The 50s show. Is the remake in the late 2000s?
There's probably been multiple remakes. I couldn't tell you specifically.
There's multiple remakes. Is it Doctor
Probably.
Who?
It's not Doctor Who.
Been remade.
Oh yeah, they did remake. They just keep continuing the time loops. Okay. It's not common. So is it drama?
Somewhat, yeah.
Is somewhat drama. Is the main character a male?
No. At least I don't think so.
Ensemble?
Hang on.
Is it an ensemble?
No, the main character is female, and definitely is ensemble, but there is a main character. But that is time, I'm afraid, Cap. The main character is female. Okay, Dave, handing over to you. Go.
Is it Bless This House?
No.
Is it The Simpsons?
No.
Is it
Yes,
Bucky
all the
Rogers of the
50s.
25th century?
No, this is a tactic.
Is it Sliders?
No.
Is it Star Trek Discovery?
No. Oh my god, what are you looking up?
You're up, mate. Is it Thundercats for All?
No.
Is it Bottom?
No.
Is it New Tricks?
No.
Is it the Phil Silver Show?
No.
Is it Soccer?
Yes.
Is it-
No, I'm joking. Right, keep going.
Is it The Rain?
No.
Is it Breaking Bad?
No.
Is it 911?
No, there's over 2,000 shows on that app.
I'm gonna do it. Is it Hills? Is it Squid Game? Is
No.
it What About the Sailor Man?
No.
Is it Bad Girls? Is
No.
it Katie and Lee? Is
No.
it Men in Black? Is it
No.
Pennywise?
No.
Is it Broadchurch? Is
No.
it Schitt's Creek?
No.
Is it Goes and Explains It All?
No.
Is that for Housewives? Serena
No.
THH? Lost in Space?
No.
Arena Time? Law and Order UK?
No.
Hogan Knows Best? Frozen Plan? Little Britain? Or Sharky and George? A Haunting on the House Hill? Gummy
Oh,
Bears?
that is time! Guys, I can reveal it was Lassie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, and that was the next one.
Ah, okay. Couple of
Well, I
tough
gotta head
ones.
out. I'll see you guys later.
Okay, thanks so much, Tim.
Thanks, Dave. Have a good one, guys.
Okay, Nick, you get to start this one. What would you like to guess?
Movie.
A movie. Let's get a movie. Okay.
From the 50s.
Right, okay, I've got a good movie here. And this one I know about, so I can answer without looking it up. So your time, Nick, starts now.
Live action.
Yes.
Sci-fi?
Somewhat, but that's not what it'd be called.
Would it be fantasy?
No.
Horror?
No.
Action adventure?
It's action, but again, it wouldn't be called that either.
Is it the Terminator?
It's not the Terminator.
Is it the Terminator 2?
It's nothing to do with Terminators.
Is it Spaceballs?
It's not Spaceballs.
Is the lead male or is the lead a male?
Yeah, mostly. Ensemble, but mostly.
Is it Star Wars?
No.
Is it Shadowrun?
No, it's not, and that is time. Okay, Dave, handing over to you. Go.
Is it part of a franchise?
Yes.
Are there more than 2 sequels?
Yeah, in a roundabout way.
In a roundabout way. Did we establish a genre?
No.
No, it's kind of a genre.
It's kind of a genre. Did we establish if the lead was male or female?
It's an ensemble with both,
It's
but
an
mostly
ensemble,
male.
Okay. Oh! Does it take place in one location?
No.
No. I don't know. I'm lost. I thought it was that. Does it take place in space?
Probably a little bit at some point.
Does it take place mostly on Earth?
Yes.
Okay. Is it a disaster movie?
If I was to be funny, then I'd say yes, but no. Oh, that is time. That is time. Okay, Cap,
You have to explain why afterwards.
Yeah, okay. Well, you can figure that one out. Okay, go.
Is it the Disaster Artist?
No.
Is it Apocalypse Now?
No.
Is it E.T.?
No.
Is it The Predator?
No.
Does it have any well-known action star starring in it?
Yes.
Did it come out in the 90s?
No.
2000s?
No.
So 80s?
No.
Like after 2000, early 2000s?
Later than 2000s.
Later than 2000. Okay. Does this main action star in the Marvel movie?
The main action star is not in a Marvel movie.
Is he in a DC movie?
Yes.
Was he on Justice League?
Yes.
Is it Jason Momoa?
Yes.
It's Jason Momoa. Oh, in a sci-fi film.
I think I
Is it
figured it
Justice
out.
League?
That is time. That is time, though, guys. I'm going to give you one more. Sorry, what did you say, Cap?
Is it Justice League?
Yes, it is. It is Justice League. That was so brilliant because you asked me, was the main action star in Justice League? I'm like, it is Justice League. I was like, do I just say, oh, that's it because you've said the title? But I was like, that isn't how you asked the question.
I felt your frustration. I was like, is it Justice
Yeah,
League?
exactly. You know, and I was like, yeah, Jason Momoa's in this film. You know. Oh, that's really
Let me
good.
show the rest of the class what I sent you in the chat. I said in the chat is an Avengers.
It's not Avengers. See, here's the thing, and this happens so often, Nick. I'll tell you on this show, and like Cap, Dave, take this on board. The amount of times people say, "Is it science fiction?" I'll be like, "Well, kind of, because it's a superhero film or something." And everyone always forgets to just check: is it a superhero film?
I will plead the fifth in this argument.
But no, it's amazing. Right, okay, guys, that kind of brings us to the end here. Now, what we're going to do, because we're going to have Extreme Improv extremed in a few minutes, is we'll do our outros round, which, as we do this, I can say, Cap, you have the most points. You're this week's Geek of the Week, so well done. You win. But let's find out where we can find everyone on social media. And if you have a geeky recommendation, like tell people where they can find you on social media, so it's not just about plugging yourself. What is a recommendation that, whether it's a TV show, movie, video game, something you think people should check out, where can people find you? Dave?
You can find me on my Instagram, DaveMC1993, and you check out my YouTube channel, DaveMC, where I upload Star Wars, The Old Republic video game footage. My Imperial Agent series is currently going on still on my YouTube channel. Go and check that out. I also do Doctor Who videos and talk about Star Wars in general. And my geeky recommendation, something I read last night, was the Darkhold Avengers event. I think this was like a few years ago, the event, where it tells 4 different Avengers in a horror scenario. So Spider-Man webbing up the entire of New York City and Iron Man being welded to his own suit. Go and check it out. But it's really dark, but if you like that sort of thing, please go and check it out.
Okay.
If not, watch My Little Pony.
Fantastic. Nick, where can the people find you?
I can be found doing extreme stuff with you guys, as well as on the Cartoonia Jam on Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am also a regular with the Catherine Dunn Show on Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. My geek recommendation is anything that Marvel puts out. Like, all the series are fantastic. I've been rewatching Daredevil because it's great. The hallway fighting scene is always a winner in my book.
Ben Affleck was so underrated in that film.
Wrong Daredevil, but I appreciate the time.
Okay, fantastic. My name is David Pistansky. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at David Pistansky, which is still spelled Pustansky. You can also get my books, which are available on Amazon. Just search Extreme Improv. My geeky recommendation for this week is, guys, just go and see the Flash movie. Just let's support this thing. Let's keep the Snyderverse still going, because that technically is something of a sequel to Justice League, I guess. And Capelthave, our Geek of the Week, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Sword Deeds, where I sing, I dance, I throw myself in a bucket, and I work with puppets. And you can watch the video that I mentioned, why I mentioned cartoons. Live action can't be as greater or beautiful than cartoons. I break it down bit by bit with numerous photos and images and also videos, but I'm going to give you a quick preview. So this is the cartoon castle in Beauty and the Beast. It's a dark castle, but look how majestic it is. And this is the movie version.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's so dark.
It sucks, okay? And my geeky recommendation for you guys is that there is a series called the Rimba Races with anthropomorphic animals doing racing. It's kind of like the old NASCAR video game in a sense. Like, it has a very good underlying fixing gaming sports plot, which is, again, is way more creditable to the funny story with talking animals, but it's actually really good plot-wise. It's completely available on YouTube, and it's a Malaysian series, I think. So go check it out. Season 1 and 2 are available on YouTube. It's called the Rimba Races.
Okay, awesome stuff. So, audience, once again, make sure you smash that subscribe button on youtube.com/Extreme Improv. In a few minutes, we'll be back with Extreme Improv Extremes. Until then, stay safe, always stay extremes, live long and prosper, may the force be with you, and ciao for now. Boom!